All right, we are on air. Happy May 11th. We are 4 days from the release of Backdrop 1.7, which is really exciting. This week, we're doing a quick check-in on tasks that we want to do in particular before the release, but also in general. Starting no updates this week from the project management committee. Hopefully, we will have more news on that front soon. We have some new community members this week that, maybe not this week, but we have some new community members that we wanted to thank in particular for their continued and ongoing participation. One of them is Denoris, who's been doing a fantastic job of helping us review a whole bunch of pull requests that were slated for 1.7 that got in, review a whole bunch of other stuff that's been languishing, add feedback and comments on everything, and now creating new issues. So that's fantastic that we've got new people that are able to figure out our workflow around GitHub and help us move everything forward. So that's great. And then also Daggerheart, who wrote this fantastic blog post this week. That's linked in our agenda, and we can put a link up on the Google chat too. New to the Backdrop community, known about us for a while, but has been using Drupal and WordPress, and both Drupal 7 and Drupal 8. Took a look at Backdrop recently and got involved instantly, which is fantastic. So we now have new perspectives in the issue queue. We've got new pull requests coming in. We have, I'm seeing a lot of really great comparisons between things that WordPress does really well that we want to do in Backdrop. So we've got this flurry of new activity, which I think is really great. And I just wanted to call out those two people in particular for being new and being amazing and contributing to Backdrop in meaningful ways. Jeff, do you want to give an update on office hours?
Sure. I just wanted to say that I'm there and available Wednesdays 4 to 5 Eastern time, United States. And they're going pretty good.
All right. Let's see. We also have, in the last week, there have been two new modules ported to Backdrop, the submitted by module and the automated logout module. There's also been a couple more releases of existing modules as well, but just wanted to call out those two. And then we don't have any updates on any of the web properties that we've been working on for Backdrop lately, because our focus has primarily been on the release for 1.7. So let's turn it over to Nate to do a review of what's left before the release.
Great. Yeah, so Backdrop 1.7 is coming out in 4 days. That'll be, I think it's Monday, which is conveniently placed in terms of timing. So for 1.7, we implemented feature freeze on May 1st. And since then, we've been dwindling down the tasks for 1.7 to a pretty minimal list. The only items that we have left in the 1.7 list include a fix to the rewrite rule in htaccess. And I think that there's still, a bit of an ambitious issue to replace the comments administration listing with the view. I don't think it's unreasonable for us to complete that one, but we need to get it implemented fairly quickly to get it through adequate testing before release. Those are the only 2 items that are tagged for 1.7 currently. So of course we should have our focus on those 2, but there are, of course, hundreds of bugs that we can start knocking down. And I know everybody gets really excited right before release, and so there's a lot of energy and a lot of activity in issue queue. And right now we don't have a lot to actually focus on. So even though we don't have new bugs that need to be addressed, all the bugs that I'm talking about are existing ones. They're still an excellent way for us to kind of concentrate our efforts before this release. May 15th, We'll also release the last 1.6 minor version, 1.6.4. And there is the issue tracker for bug fixes that we can get into that last bug fix release as well. Of course, all bug fixes will be both in the 1.6 release and the 1.7 release that'll come out the same day. We're also talking right before the meeting. We have this tag for UX issues, and I think we used to mention this just about all the time, that you could find it by searching for square brackets UX in the issue tracker. And conveniently, we put a link into the agenda this time around, and I pulled it up before the meeting. Come on, internet. We have something in the vicinity of 400 plus UX bugs, 431 UX bugs, which actually even bugs is, well, I don't know. I would probably call them bugs. Like if they're major usability problems, that's a bug. But that means that UX issues, 431 open issues, make up more than a third of all of the issues that we have open for Backdrop itself, which is incredible. And the nice thing about UX issues is that for the most part, UX issues, as long as they're not changing, like breaking functionality, UX issues we apply and commit pretty much continuously, even in bug fix releases. So that means that any UX issue that we decide to pick up, even if it doesn't get into 1.70, there's a really good chance that it could still get into 1.7.1 or any of the subsequent bug fix releases. So if you're excited right now and you would like to get something into Backdrop Core in the short term, UX issues are a great way to do that. And of course, bug fixes. There's also a fair bucket of bugs, and bugs, as those get fixed, those immediately also go into minor, into bug fix releases. Yeah, the 1.8 release, we'll probably start thinking about, I mean, we've already started thinking about it, the things that have been getting bumped from 1.7 are being slated into the 1.8 milestone. But after we get out this release, I'm sure we'll start thinking about what we want our overall theme or focus to be for the 1.8 release. And I think that's a point of discussion that we will want to pick up in the near future. But I don't have any more to say on the 1.7 release. I'm really excited. I'm really not stressed about it. Our feature freeze has been super effective this time around, and we had a real solid rush right at the end of April, and then that was kind of it. Like, you know, the stressful time is behind us, and now it's just kind of an easy coast into the final release of Backdrop 1.7. That's all I've got. We move into general Q&A and discussion. If you guys would like to bring anything up. Nothing at all? Okay, well, I will also say this isn't really a PMC announcement, but we got a fun email to the info@backdropcms.org address that somebody had set up a like a WAMP-like installer, Windows, Apache, MySQL, PHP installer that is a like double-click like install shield type like thing for Windows that you just like double-click and it installs. And of course, we're already compatible with a number of other systems, things like Calabox, for example, but Calabox is more driven towards command line users rather than like double-clicky users. So I'm excited to see that we're continuing to get different distribution options out there for Backdrop. Do we have a link to that, Jen, that we could throw up somewhere? Yeah, IZWAMP is the name of it.
Yeah, and it's not like a single product that has the ability to do multiple things. I think he has it on SourceForge, and he has separate packages for like specific to WordPress from what I saw in Drupal. So that's a specific package that installs Backdrop over that one.
Yeah, actually, I looked at it and I was looking for other IZ-WAMP versions, and I only saw that he had one for WordPress, and I didn't see one for Drupal. And maybe that was just a poor searching on my part. But if that is the case, I find that to be even more awesome, that this guy is like, found it worthwhile to have a WordPress installer and a Backdrop installer. And that was like, oh yeah, because that aligns with the audience of people who would likely be using DoubleClick installers. So I thought that was real cool.
DoubleClick.
I'm not actually sure that's an official term. That's just what I would call it.
Call it an installer.
DoubleClick installer. Yeah, it's just a UI-driven installer rather than a command line-based one. Okay, well, I guess that's it. I'm still excited. I had a hard time even queuing things up because there's so many issues to review. But yeah, let's get back to it. And yeah, I'm totally stoked for our release. And let's start thinking about 1.8.
Woohoo!
Okay. Thanks, everybody.
We'll see
Talk to you guys next week
on the internet.